Everything is horrible!
What makes you say that?
It's just this general feeling I always have.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
It's a new year, y'all, a time when we all tend to take stock in ourselves and the world around us.
It's also the time of year when I consume the most media, since I'm pretty much stuck on my grandma's living room couch watching TV. Mostly under duress.
It's really easy to think, based on our introspective New Year's mindset and all the news around us, you know, with the wars and the crime and the disease and the environmental destruction and the impressive governments watching us and the drones
Anthony, I'm gonna need you to take a deep breath, in and out.
Sorry, it is just really easy to get caught up in that stuff. But here's the thing, it is genuinely the best time in the history of the world to be alive, and it actually keeps getting better, especially when you realize how short of a period of time that we've been around and just how long humans have been struggling against the elements.
True, we hear a lot of stuff about epidemics and mortality rates in developing nations, but since 1950, the infant and child mortality rate has gone down in every single country in the world, in every income bracket, every single one.
And the average lifespan in the world has gone from 47 to 70 years old in that time. In 1850s in England, pretty much the easiest place to live on Earth at the time, the average person only lived to be 40. So we've doubled that, and there's still a lot to do to combat disease, but this is still a huge gain.
And hunger is also on a huge decline. We're talking about 925 million people living in hunger today, as opposed to 958 million in 1970. And that might seem like a really small difference, but the population then was 3.7 billion, and now it is 7 billion.
So that means we went from having 25% of the world not having enough to eat to 13% now. We dropped hunger by half.
We're even decimating poverty. We hear a lot about current recessions and unemployment, but 30 years ago, 40% of the world was living on less than $1.25 a day. In 2010, that number dropped to 14%.
Murder and violent crime is dropping too. Look, in the Middle Ages, there was about 15% chance that somebody was going to murder you. That is the deal. You get born, you get an axe to the face, and then you die. In the 20th century, even with both world wars, violent death was down to 3%. 13 years into the 21st century, and we are down to 0.003%. Still early, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah, well, those are some pretty solid numbers. These are feel-good numbers. So why do we feel so bad? Part of it is that, hey, we weren't around hundreds of years ago. We're looking at such a narrow picture of things.
And there's also the problem of media saturation. We know about everything that's going on everywhere all the time right now. And the media tends to focus on the negative. A study done on the content of Time magazine over a 30-year period showed that 73% of those stories were about violent crime, but only 10% of the total crimes reported to the police during that same time were actually violent.
It contributes to something that mass media researcher George Gerbner called mean world syndrome. That is a good name. The media focuses on the negative. We only see the negative. We only know the negative. You can also call it the availability heuristic. You are more likely to believe that the world matches the available information that's already in your head.
Right, so you have to fill your head with a more rounded view of everything. Dig down and find the real information and the good news that's out there.
But don't think that we're just glossing over all the work that still needs to be done. We know that there are things to fix. Just don't forget that we're working on fixing them while you're reading about how to tear them apart.
When the world looks bleak, you just remember what D-News told you. You are so much more unlikely to get an axe in the face than you once were.
So, on that note, what's your good news for 2014, guys? Let us know down below and subscribe for more D-News.
I can't think of a single person I know who's got hit in the face with an axe.
Me neither.
I did once in Scouts.
Why'd you have to go ruin it, Trace?